I sat there, utterly captivated, my eyes glued to my mother, Emily Harris, as she moved gracefully around the kitchen, preparing dinner. Her beauty was flawless, smooth, porcelain skin, a tiny mole near her full, red lips, a slim waist like a 20-year-old's, and long, elegant legs. I couldn't help but feel a rush of pride and something more intense, a burning admiration that set my heart racing. Born into a respectable, middle-class family, I'd always known I was lucky to have her as my mom. Emily stood at 5 feet 7 inches, a striking 37-year-old high school literature teacher who turned heads wherever she went. Her long, silky hair reached her mid-back, often tied up in a neat bun, and her flawless face made people assume she was only in her mid-20s. With her white, flawless skin and model-like figure, she could have passed for a Victoria's Secret angel. Her gentle, soft-spoken nature only added to her charm, though sometimes my dad, James Harris, a government official 5 years her senior, teased her for being a little naive. How he'd managed to win her over back in the day was beyond me. I was in awe of her. It all started back in my sophomore year of high school. My buddies and I got hooked on reading some shady psychological stories we found online. One of them printed a stack of pages and passed them around. Curious and eager to fit in, I grabbed one and snuck it home. That night, I locked myself in my room. Well, tried to, since my door didn't have a lock, and started reading. My heart pounded as I flipped through the pages. It was my first taste of something forbidden. The story I stumbled upon was about a mother and son, and before I knew it, I was overwhelmed, dealing with it in a way only a teenage boy would. By dinner, my face was still flushed, and Emily noticed right away. "Jake, why's your face so red?" she asked, concerned. Panicking, I blurted, "Oh, I was just doing push-ups in my room." She bought it, but that moment sparked an obsession. I dove headfirst into that world, scouring the internet for more stories every chance I got. Things escalated when my cousin, Mike, 8 years older, dragged me to the gym. There, he and his buddies spent hours bragging about women, and I'd lift weights while soaking in every word. Naturally, my thoughts kept drifting to Emily. Who could blame me? She was perfection. Then came that fateful night. I was lost in one of those stories, back turned to my door, when Emily slipped in quietly. She's nearsighted and wasn't wearing her glasses that day, so she didn't catch on at first. She just saw me hunched over oddly and tiptoed closer. Right as she leaned in to peek, I hit my limit, and it shot right onto her flawless face. She yelped, stumbled back, and collapsed onto the floor, stunned. I spun around, mortified, my heart racing so fast I could barely breathe. Seeing me choke, she snapped out of her shock, rushed over, laid me on the bed, and pressed on my chest, even giving me mouth-to-mouth. I recovered quickly, youth has its perks, and mumbled, "I'm fine. Mom, sorry." She sighed in relief, grabbed me a glass of water, and then froze as the awkwardness sank in. "I'll head back to my room," she muttered, wiping her face with her shirt before dashing out. I heard James call from downstairs. "You okay, hon? Why the rush to the bathroom?" I smirked despite myself. For days, we avoided each other, stealing glances but saying nothing. 3 nights later, though, she came back to my room, this time with her glasses on. I was mid-story again, but shut it down fast, too late. She sighed, frowning. "Jake, don't you see how this could hurt you?" I froze, then whined, "I try, Mom, but I can't stop. It's messing with my head." Her eyes softened, teary. "Oh, my boy, how did it come to this? We've been too busy to notice." She hugged me, looked into my eyes, and asked, "What can I do to help?" My heart leapt. Boldly, I stammered, "Mom, could you help me? Just with your hand?" It had stopped me from all this. She gasped, "What?" "No, I can't." But I pressed, "Please, Mom. It'd help me focus on school. I promise I'll do better." She hesitated, then sighed, "Let me think about it. Please try to control it, okay?" I nodded, grinning inside, halfway there. The next day, I played it cool, acting like the perfect son. That night, she came back, sat on my bed, and said, "I've thought it over. I'll help, but only because I love you. 3 rules. You improve your grades. I only use my hand, and this stays between us." I nodded eagerly. "Deal." She smirked, "Quiet down. Your dad's asleep." Then, nervously, she started. I couldn't believe it. 2 minutes in, I was done, basking in the glow. "Thanks, Mom. You're amazing," I whispered, hugging her. She smiled, "Go to sleep, kiddo," and left. The next morning, she was humming, dressed in a sleek office skirt that made her look like a runway star. I gawked. "Mom, you're too pretty. Don't let anyone else see you like this." She laughed, "Silly boy, eat your breakfast." Our routine settled in. Every few days, she'd help, and we grew closer, chatting like friends. My grades soared. I'd promised her after all. One day, I showed her my A's and begged, "If I ace my next math test, can we go further?" She smirked, "Focus on studying, we'll see." I grinned, close enough to a yes. That night, I showed her an article claiming certain benefits for women's health. She blushed, "Really?" I pushed, "Try it, Mom. It's legit." She hesitated but dabbed a bit on her skin later, intrigued. Then James went on a 2-day trip. Alone with Emily, I seized my chance. After acing my test, I hinted at my reward. She sighed, "Fine, but same rules." We laughed, ate lunch, and bonded. That night, I caught her secretly watching a video I'd rigged on her laptop, one of those stories. "Mom, busted?" I teased. She stammered, "It just popped up." I grinned. "Let's watch together. See what's so bad." Reluctantly, she agreed. Halfway through, I dared her, "Try it for real, just once?" She balked, then caved. "Fine, one taste." She winced, salty, like egg whites, but smirked. I beamed, "Progress." Saturday morning, I woke up tangled in her arms, a mess from my own hands. She blinked awake, horrified, then laughed. "Sorry, I was out cold." Later, she found the evidence on her shorts and stormed, "Jake, explain this." I played dumb, "What?" She pinched me, "You know what?" I yelped, "Okay, sorry." She softened when I showed her my test scores and apology notes. "I love you, Mom." She hugged me, "You're forgiven, you little schemer." That afternoon, we hit the gym, her in tight workout gear, me lifting weights. Everyone stared at her, and I swelled with pride. Later, she got roped into a group dinner. "Come with me," she begged. I agreed, playing her bodyguard. At the restaurant, people mistook her for my girlfriend. "No, my mom," I corrected, laughing. She blushed, whispering, "Thanks for being here." Back home that night, I pushed my luck. "Mom, one more time?" She sighed, "You're impossible," but smiled. We kept our pact, her help, my studies. By Sunday, James returned, and life normalized. Emily and I shared a secret bond, a mix of love and mischief, sealed with a promise. I'd keep excelling, and she'd keep being my biggest supporter, in her own unique way.